First look at AOSP extended version 8.0 based on Android 11 running on the Xiaomi Poco F1. Hey peeps, what's up? Munchie here, back with another video, and in this video we're going to have our first look at AOSP extended ROM version 8.0 based on Android 11 running on the Xiaomi Poco F1. Do note that this is the third build, and even though it says that it is an unofficial build, the important thing to note here is that the build is from the official developer. And as you can see, security patches from October 5th, 2020. The kernel they are using is from Shiva, and the kernel's name is no name. Kernel SE Linux of course is permissive. Now if you go back and scroll down on the about phone page, you will notice that SE Linux is enforcing. However, no need to get confused. I did check using terminal emulator, and SE Linux in fact is permissive. Next up, you will notice that bubbles are working like a boss along with the Android 11 Easter egg game, and as you can see I do have 6 cats in my basket, and notification history also works absolutely fine. So here it is, tap on history and this is my notification history. You of course have to go into settings, apps and notifications, and enable notification history. While we are in apps and notifications, do note that priority conversations also work absolutely fine. Next up, we can have a look at the volume panel. So this is how your volume panel is going to look like. And yes, you do have the expanded volume panel. The bottom button is to toggle on and off live caption, and the button on the top is to toggle between the different ringer modes which you have. If you swipe on the left, you do have access to your Google feed. Here it is. No lags, no jitters. Do note that the build does not come with Google Apps baked in. However, I have flashed Nix Google Apps and I am using the macro version, and Google Assistant also works. However, the only downside is that you do not get the OK Google hot word to wake your device up. That does not work in India right now. Next up, we can have a look at the recents. So bam, there it is. Recents working like a boss. Everything is pretty smooth. There it is one more time. And tap on select. The select feature also works. There it is, working like a boss. Tap on screenshot. Screenshot works. Tap on share. It is going to open the quick share menu. Press and hold on any application and you can now pin it. There it is. Gmail is now the first application and it is pinned to my quick share menu. Next up, we can have a look at the quick setting tiles. These are your different tiles which you have, and yes, you do have the caffeine tile, screenshot, gaming mode. We're going to talk about that later in this video. You do have FPS info. Here it is on the top left, FPS info, and you also have the quick setting tile for heads up. Tap on the edit icon and these are the different tiles which you can add in case you want to. And while you are in edit mode, you can of course tap on the 3-dot menu on the top right and configure your columns in normal mode, landscape mode, and your quick bar columns as well, along with the option to enable or disable your labels for the quick setting tiles. We can also check out the Android 11 screen recorder. So here it is. Let us choose to record device audio and microphone, and we can then tap on start. Do note that previous builds had issues with lags. However, this one, there are no lags, no jitters when you enable the screen recorder, so that issue has since been fixed. Next up, we can jump into settings and have a look at the different customizations which you get with Android 11 and AOSP extended. Go into Wi-Fi and internet, select your Wi-Fi's name, select it one more time. You have the option for disconnect, and you also have a toggle to enable or disable connection to your Wi-Fi on a per Wi-Fi basis. Now the only issue I noticed is that for me it does not connect to my 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi network. It works absolutely fine on the 2.41, but it's not working with the 5 gigahertz. Going into apps and notifications, see all apps. Let us select the camera application, go into permissions, and if you tap on any of these options, let us say location, you have 3 different options. So with Android 11 you can choose to ask every time for location access. Then you also have a toggle to remove permissions if the app isn't used for quite some time. Next up we have extensions, and this is where you have all the customizations for AOSP extended. First up is status bar items, so you can of course configure all the items which you want to see in your status bar. Then you have clock settings, so you can enable or disable the clock and date, and in case you want to see the date as well, you have different options for that. Once you enable that, you can choose the style, the format, and the position with respect to time, so either left or right of time. Then you have battery bar. Right now it is set as hidden. Let us choose status bar. There it is. You can see on the top I do have a red battery bar, and you have different customizations for the battery bar as well. Then you have customization for traffic indicators and where do you want them placed. So you have three different options: disabled, in the status bar, or in the expanded header. And you can also configure the activity type, the threshold, whether you want to see the arrows or not, and you can also configure the size of the font. Then you have customization for carrier label, where do you want to see the carrier label on the lock screen or not, and if you want a custom carrier label, you have the option of that as well. In miscellaneous extensions, you can choose to see the AEX logo on the status bar in case you want to see the data disabled icon, if you want to see the 4G icon instead of LTE, then if you want volt icon or not, roaming indicator. If you want a small mobile type icon, you have a toggle for that as well, and you do have some gestures for your status bar as well. So you do have double tap to sleep on the status bar, works absolutely fine. And you can also configure the brightness by sliding across the status bar as well once you enable the brightness control toggle. Let me increase that a little bit. There it is, working like a boss. Next up you have customizations for quick setting panel. Here it is, quick settings. Do you want vibrate on touch for the quick setting icons or not? Do you want a brightness slider? Do you want to see the adaptive brightness button or not, and brightness control buttons? So here it is, expanded quick setting panels. This is your slider, the automatic brightness, and the plus minus buttons. In case you want to move the slider to the bottom, you have a toggle for that as well. In case you want to disable the quick settings on your lock screen when you have set a pin, password, or face unlock, toggle for that as well. If you want to see the edit icon in the footer, you have toggle for that as well. And one of my favorite options, running services icon. Here it is, running services icon, and these are your running services right now. So that I think is a pretty nifty feature. Going back into extensions and quick settings customization, you can also configure your quick pull downs. So right now mine is set as swipe down from left for expanded. Then you have smart pull down, quick setting footer warnings, and you also have animation styles when you press the quick setting icons. Right now it is set as flip, and let me give you a demo of flip. So there it is, that is how the flip animation looks like. We can always change this to say rotate, and there it is, rotate in the building, with the other effect of the interpolator which is set as bounce. Then you have customization for your notifications, whether you want a kill app button in the notification long press menu or not. You can customize your heads up settings as well. Then if you want to make your heads up notifications less annoying, you have a toggle for that, and you have in call vibration toggles as well. Moving over to customization for navigation, so you do have the option of hiding the on-screen navigation bar. There it is, you can see that the bar gets hidden as soon as I disable this toggle. Then you can customize the layout if you're using the 3-button navigation, and in case you want to see the arrow keys while typing, you have a toggle for that as well. Moving over to lock screen customization, you do have lock screen UI, and herein, in case you want a vibration for successful fingerprint authentication, you have a toggle for that. Double tap on the lock screen to sleep, and here it is. Double tap to wake, works absolutely fine. Double tap to sleep on the lock screen also works like a boss. Then in case you want to see the media art for your music on the lock screen, you have a toggle for that as well. You can also configure the blur level using the slider at the bottom. And you also have music visualizer. You have two options, automatic or lava lamp, and both these options do work absolutely fine, and trust me, they do look pretty good as well. Going over to system, so you have general tweaks. You can enable or disable the toast app icon, and yes, you do have 3-finger screenshot enabled and working like a boss. And the best part is, take a screenshot, it is going to open the quick share menu as well. And then you have customization. So in customization, this is where your theming capabilities of AOSP extended are, the different device theme options. These are the options on your screen right now. You can choose your accent colors. Here it is. A bunch of different colors are available. You can choose your fonts. These are the different fonts which you have, and you can also choose your icon shapes, a bunch of icon shapes here as well. Then you have your status bar icon and the settings dashboard icon as well. As you can see right now, they are set as default background. This is how that looks like. We can go back into extensions, system, customization, and let us change this to say tinted background, and here it is. That is how the tinted background looks like. Going back into extensions, system, next option you have is buttons. So yes, you can configure your power menu options. What do you want to see? And here it is. You will get a 3-dot menu. There it is. Screenshot and flashlight are the options which I have enabled. Then you can toggle the torch when the screen is off. So either you can long press the power button. Let us choose that. Long press power button. Bam. Torch in the building, working like a boss. Or you can use the double tap on the power button or press it twice in quick succession. In case you want to move the volume rocker to the left, toggle for that as well. Then you can use your volume rockers to control the music, reorient them when the screen is rotated. In case you want to use volume rocker wake, you have a toggle for that as well, and keyboard cursor control using the volume rockers. Then you have customization for battery charging light, and unfortunately for the Poco F1 the LED is white only, so that is what you will have to suffice with. Then you also have gaming mode. Now once you enable gaming mode, you have different customizations. So you can block the notifications, lock the buttons, disable automatic brightness. What about the ringer in gaming mode? Do you want it to not change, vibrate, go into do not disturb or silent mode? If you want an indication for gaming mode, these are your different options. Then you also have a dynamic mode wherein it is going to try detecting and adding gaming apps on its own, or you can add apps to the gaming mode manually by using this option at the bottom. So these are all the different customizations which you get in extensions. Moving over to battery, so you do have the option to enable battery percentage, works absolutely fine. You also have screen usage since last full charge along with battery temperature. Going into display, you of course have the option of scheduling your dark theme at a specific time, something which Google added with Android 11. Night light is there, adaptive brightness. Go into wallpaper, you can of course change your wallpaper. Now unfortunately you do not have the option of custom lock screen clocks. Screen attention is there, works absolutely fine. Different colors, natural, boosted, saturated or adaptive. Unfortunately you do not have live display from Lineage OS. Go into lock screen, you can of course enable always on display by enabling this toggle, and as you can see, AOD working like a boss. Do note that always on display on a LCD panel will result in excessive battery drain. Now playing of course is broken right now. Then we already checked double tap to wake on plug is there, and you can of course configure your font size, display size and the DPI as well. Moving over to sound, you have the toggle to link and delink the notification and ring volumes. Then you also have a favorite feature of mine, which is screenshot shutter sound. You have a toggle to enable or disable that, and you also have direct sound enhancer, works absolutely fine. Going into security, you do have IR face unlock, super fast, works absolutely fine. Jumping over to system, going to gestures, system navigation, two different navigation options, 3-button menu or full screen gestures. Go into settings, you can configure the sensitivity on the left edge and the right edge, and you can also configure the back height for both those edges. Then you also have prevent ringing by pressing power and volume up together, so you can choose vibrate, mute or mute with no media. Go into developer options, you also have wireless debugging, and in Poco Extras you can configure your thermal profiles on a per app basis. These are the different thermal profile options you have. Then you have performance profiles for a per app basis as well. And then you can set your default performance profile and your default thermal profile as well. Next up, we can check for safety net. So safety net will not pass out of the box. However, once you root your device and enable Magisk Hide, then safety net should pass without any issues. And there it is. You can see on your screen right now, safety net is now success and passing, which means you should be able to use your banking apps without any issues. In terms of YouTube picture-in-picture mode works absolutely fine, and no jitters, no lags with respect to YouTube, and your live caption also works. With respect to quick settings media controls, that feature also works absolutely fine, and you can switch between phone speaker and any other Bluetooth device which you have connected without any issues. As for the smoothness of the ROM, here it is. You can see my Google feed, no jitters, no lags, nothing like that. Same applies for the gestures. Everything is super fast and super smooth. There is no jitter and no lag with respect to anything on this build. Here it is on your screen right now. So all in all, a pretty good build with no issues. Everything is pretty smooth, and those of you who do want to try out Android 11, this ROM is a must try because it does have a bunch of customization as well. And there it is, peeps. That was our first look at AOSP extended version 8.0 based on Android 11 running on the Xiaomi Poco F1. And that will do it for this video. Hope my video helped you. Likes, shares and subscribes are appreciated. Feedback and comment more than welcome. See you when I see you.